Good morning and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to start a new miniature build. I have been really wanting to make a little bookstore or a cafe or something of that. I've been looking on Amazon because they have all these little kits that I like to get inspiration from, and I think I've settled on what kind I want. I think I'm going to make a little cat cafe, so I'm going to pop in a picture here so you can see what's my inspiration. This little cat cafe is adorable, but I think I want to put my own spin on that, so let's get out our materials and start planning. Okay, so from that inspiration of sort of the cat cafe store and the like ice cream store, I'm going to mostly do the cat book cafe, but it's going to look a little different. So I have this rough shape of the store itself, and then this is like where the plants and stuff and the little staircase will go. So I've roughly sketched out a line here because this, I think I made it about 4 centimeters is the porch, and then the other side of the porch is another about 4 centimeters, and then this sort of little piece that goes across. So I just roughly sketched out with my pencil what I want the dimensions to be. It does get covered up with whatever sort of flooring I want to put in there, but I like to, for my own visualizations, sketch it on there. It just helps my brain. So you could also do it with a piece of paper if you didn't want to do it on your, like, right specifically on your little planks, but honestly, like I said, it gets covered up, so I don't see a problem with it. Okay, so I am on to the walls. So I decided to use, I had an Oreo box, and I also had leftover of one of the packaging from a little thing of furniture from the dollar store. I really use whatever materials work for me. So sometimes that's really strong watercolor paper, several layers of it, especially depending like what kind of walls I'm doing. Sometimes it's just cereal boxes. You can use a whole bunch of different kind of materials. I just like to utilize what I have. So I have cardboard boxes, so that's what I'm using. So on to the design of the walls. So I have about 4 pieces cut out. So this is my back wall, and I gave it this little lip at the bottom because it makes it easier when I'm gluing it onto the floor to be able to press it down. Otherwise, sometimes I burn my finger with the hot glue. This side, that square on the back, is going to be cut out with my X-Acto knife, and then I'm going to insert a window there. It's going to go along here, and then the other wall is going to go right here, and this is because I already cut out and folded down a little, I don't know if you want to call it a, not a drive-through window, but like a takeout window. I'm going to cut this in half because I don't need it to be quite that long, but I essentially just X-Acto knifed that and then folded it down. So that's why it's so long at the moment, but it will attach to the wall here. And then this is the doorway. I've drawn it on. I just haven't cut it out yet, and it's going to go across this way. Okay, so this is the doorway. I am going to cut this out, and then that will be the entrance to this little cat cafe. And then this last side over here is a window, so I'm going to cut out that and then put it just like this. And then for the windows, often I've either left them in my earlier builds, like this one over here, I've left it just open because, I mean, it is a window. And the builds that you get a kit, they do give you sort of like a plastic type stuff for windows, but some of those supplies are really expensive. So I came up with an alternative. My last 1x24 build, I actually used just like cellophane that you wrap your stuff in the fridge on, and I just did it really tight across the wall, and it did work, but you like have to be super careful or you could obviously rip it. But that is a super cheap way to do it. I found another stronger alternative, but again, it just depends if you can find it. At the dollar store, they have this, it's called shrink sheets, and like you don't use them how they're designed. If you're using them how they're designed, you like draw a design, you cut them out, you put them in the oven, and they shrink to make these cute little keychains. But instead, if you just take the sheet uncooked, you know, and you draw on your design and cut it out, it is strong enough to be windows. So that is what I'm going to utilize. This one is from the Dollarama, I think. And it was $1.50 for 2 sheets. So because the sheets are actually pretty big, that gives you quite a bit to work with. So I am going to use it for my couple windows that need the clear look to it. Okay, and then the next stage will be Often I like put up the walls and then keep working on it, but what I'm gonna do is decide on the like wall decor before I put it up. So I'm going to decide what if I want it just to be something simplistic like these squares from my IT lab, or if I want it to like have flowery walls, whatever the design would be. So I'm going to pick out that and put it on the walls before I put up the walls because it is much easier. I think it will also have lighting in here, so I think I'm going to put a little lamp on this wall here and put potentially a little lamp over here by the little coffee station. Okay, so I've moved on to walls and a window. So I'm doing this first wall and I've attached the wallpaper here. I just tend to take my wallpaper, which I just get these big sheets. They're like 12 by 12, sort of like scrapbooking sheets. I get them from packs from the dollar store. They have these big packs. They're often like 24 sheets for like $3 to $4. And the front has all these different design. So I usually just pick the ones I like the most. So I've picked this pale pink color with these little sort of gold looking, almost like candy dots or whatever. They seemed really cute for this cafe. So I've just measured the wall dimensions so I have the perfect size for my wallpaper. And then this other side that has the window, I have also cut out and it will attach, but before I do that, I'm just going to take the little piece that was in the window and cut out a little bit bigger than it for the glass. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide the glass on top of this wall and then put the wallpaper over top to hold it in place. So that's why I'm doing the glass along with the wallpaper. Usually I'd wait, but because I'm putting, this sort of plastic sheeting as my glass, then I want to do that first so it holds it in. So that's what I'm going to do next. Oh, and I've been using just this regular Elmer's school glue for the wallpaper. I used to use hot glue and it worked well. And honestly, I was just using the supply I had with me. But sometimes you'll get a little bubble underneath. And honestly, I've noticed if you use enough of this, it does stay put. So that's what I'm doing this time. Okay, so I have both sides have wallpaper and there is a window in there. I also put some pink paneling on the outside to cover the rest of the box. Like I said, the dollar store has lots of those. They come in different shades. They're this sort of pale bluey color and this pink, and there's a green, and there's also even like more wood paneling kind. So I usually just have a variety so that I can do whatever. But because the inside is pink and it's a little cat cafe, I sort of thought the pink paneling would work best. Okay, so I have this side of the wall done and the little takeout window and this side that matches the outside. So all around, it is ready to go. I'm just going to lean it against here. Then I'm going to do this doorway next, and then this window, and then we can get to the floor inside. Okay, so I have the door frame done, and it is standing on its own essentially because there is so much paper on it. So the front side is covered with matching interior wallpaper just to all draw it together, and then the back side is also covered with the same paper. So I've used this regular Schoolhouse Elmer's glue and it is working, but like I'll probably have to add a little bit of hot glue when I actually attach the walls and just reinforce it a bit because it probably has a spot here or there that's just being stubborn. So next is the window, to which I'm also going to cover it with probably this sort of pink paneling to match with the back side, and then I'll put the glass in that window. And honestly, most of that window is glass. So that is next. And then I'm still trying to decide if I want to write something on the window. The inspiration photo said like cat and coffee, which is cute, but I just hadn't decided yet. There is sort of this little arch thing I want to put on the top because I'm going to do a roof for this one. They're going to kind of slant in and have sort of glass skylight windows. And the inspiration had like cat ears and a whole thing. And I don't think I'm quite doing that, but I might do the curve with cat ears without the bow in the face. And then I was thinking I would use this sticker inside of that window where it would have the cat look of ears and say cafe. So it's a little different. It's inspired, not identical, since that's the idea. All right, so I'm working on this part of the window next. I have the paper attached to the actual frame, and then before I add the other side, I'm going to add this sheet of plastic glass that I have cut out, again just from that dollar store shrink wrap that works really well. So I'm going to lay it on top, and then I have drawn out another square for it, so I'm just going to cut that out and cut out the interior, and then put this on top of this on top of this, and then that wall will be done. And then after that, I have my hot glue warming up. I'm going to attach my baseboards to each other. Then I'm going to cover them in the two types of flooring, the porch flooring and the flooring for the interior. And then I'm going to start attaching my walls, and I'll probably attach the back walls and then leave these 3 walls until I can figure out what kind of interior furniture I'm doing. Alright, so I have the glass in and both sides done. So next to attach all the floorboards and put the flooring on. Okay, so we're going to make a piece of furniture next. So the first piece I'm going to make is a countertop by the coffee station just under the window. So I have drawn out the dimensions. I just measured the length that the window is. I want it to fit underneath. And I've measured the bottom of the window to the floor, so I know the height I want it. I don't really write them out ahead of time. I just kind of go as I'm making the furniture. So this is the front of the piece of furniture. These are the 2 little side pieces. I just did the length of the top of my countertop, so I knew how long to make the sides. And then I am going to use this. It's more of the wood grain stuff to cover the front to give it a nicer appeal. And when I cut it out, I'm gonna crease these edges here with the edge of my X-Acto knife, and then just cut the rest out. And I'll cut out a top as well, and then I'll put this sticker on the top and this sticker on the front. Both of these stickers are those wood grain from the dollar store. And then I have a nice little countertop, so I'm going to do that next. Okay, so I have my next piece of furniture drawn out. The other one is finished. I just have to glue the sides and the top together, and then that countertop will be done. The next one is for the coffee station. So I have it drawn out. This is the front, these are the sides and the top. I'm doing this sort of wood grain, sort of is similar to others, but a little bit different. And then there's a white top with little black plus signs on it. I just think it will go nice together. And because I've decided my walls are going to be sort of this pretty pink color to go with the cat theme, and the floor is going to have gold elements, I needed to tie it together without being too overwhelming. Hopefully it's not overwhelming considering how many things will be in it, but we'll see. So let's get going. Okay, so I'm just working on finishing up this little cupboard that I built. I just cut it out of paper like I usually do, so I just draw on one section, so usually like the back. So this I made 2 centimeters tall on paper, and then I just cut another rectangle, and I made this one 3 centimeters down because I knew that's the depth I wanted it. And then the arms of the cupboard and the back of the cupboard are also 3 centimeters. So essentially you have 2 centimeters for your first one, and then 3 for all of the ones here, here, and here. And then you just cut it out, and I crease all of the edges with my X-Acto knife to make it easier. And then I covered the outside in the same adhesive as my other furniture that I built. And then I just put a tiny bit of hot glue on each of the edges and press them together. And to make my life easier, I also put the pattern that I wanted, which I cut out of just some squares. You can get different sizes from the dollar store. They have these huge packs. So this one is a bit smaller, but it just has like, how many does it say? This one says it has 100 sheets, and it was like $1.25. So as you can see, very economical. So the other ones I have are like more like 4x4, where I think these ones here are like 2x2, 2x4. Yeah, they're pretty small, but you're making furniture, so they don't have to be that big. So I just put the design inside before I glued it to make life easier, and then I just finished gluing it. So that is my cupboard. So if you go over here, I built these pieces of furniture the same way. I just left the back open because it goes against a wall. So this is the one that goes underneath that window, and then this one goes sort of next to the open door or takeout window here. And then on the wall, I will attach this little cupboard like that. And then I'm going to put some little coffee station here and some little coffee up here. So that's the beginning of my furniture. So my next steps were I added a tiny strip of the same flooring to the back edge where I had sort of a fold down that could be attached. It doesn't match perfectly like with the little curves, but that doesn't matter because essentially that will pretty much be covered up by the furniture on that wall, but I just didn't want this sort of like cardboard look to show through, so it's really just about making a tie-in together. So the countertop that I created with my paper, I have attached under the window, and then also the coffee station has been attached, and I know there's a gap here, but you'll see when I line it up with the flooring, which I'm not there yet, then essentially when it gets glued down, it'll be pressed flat like that, and then there won't be a gap. But until it's happened, that can't happen yet. So I also have this little shelf that is going to be attached up here, and then I will work on the wall that has lighting, and the I'm making a cat scratching post here, but then there's little shelving that goes here, so I'm working on this shelf and then this next. And then I'll keep working on this, just because if I don't do the lighting and attach it, then it'll drive me nuts. So that's next. So I have the cupboard attached up there. I'm thinking I might put like the coffee pot and that kind of stuff up here and the little other things here, just depending space-wise. And then I'm starting to build, I decided I should do my cat wall before the little cat scratching post just to make everything fit. So I've put 3 little steps up, and then I built this little cat box, if you want to call it that. So I just used 2 of my bigger squares and 3 of my little emblems of flowers. Oh gosh. So I have this little tray here, which that was my little whoopsies. But from the dollar store, you can get all these different little shapes and whatnot that I like to use for decoration and whatnot. So I've grabbed a couple of the flowers. I'll tuck those into there, and I attach them to the bottom board and then put another one on top, and I'm going to hang that on the wall here. And then when that is up there, I also made this light fixture, so it is 3 circles attached. Then I took just a toothpick and with my wire cutters, because they work quite nicely, snipped 2 equal pieces and glued them onto the circles, and then I attached a flower onto that, making my little light fixture. So with this light fixture, I'm going to attach it about here, and then I'll string my light through it, and then I'm going to attach this one up here, and between the two, I'm going to make sort of like a little cat bridge where they can climb from this one to this one and then step back down. And then there will be a cat scratching post here, and then on this little section here will be those little low cushions and stools for petting animals / eating food there. So that's the look I'm going for. I think my inspiration also had like a cat poster on the wall, but that just feels like a lot. So I'll probably leave that off. And then beside this cushion area, that's where this little window gets tucked in. And then you look out that window with that area here. Okay, so I made some more progress. I have part of the cat climbing area built, and then I also have the first lamp up. So I made it go with this because I want it to have a little climbing bridge between the lamp and that part. And then I also have, I just put the lamp right underneath here and then have it going behind the lamp on the wall. And then I'm going to put the wires all the way underneath here. I did actually cut a hole back here so that I could put the little black wire box back here. Otherwise I have to attach it to the outside of the little structure, and I find that more, yeah, I don't really like the look of that. So instead I have it so I can slide that up into there, and then I also still have the piece I cut off, and I might just make it a little door that can be popped on and off. I just haven't got quite that far yet. Alright, so I have attached the light on the wall and the other light above the cabinet. And you can see this is where I intend it to hang over and then be attached to the roof. Alright, so we're going to work on wiring next. we are going to have the white attached to the black and the red attached to the gray. I do find this task very frustrating, but it's very happy when it's done. So that is what we're going to do next. Let's get started. And success. It lights up. Always my favorite part. Okay, I'm going to take a break from lighting and walls to work on some decor for a minute. I like to switch around for a little bit. So I have this little flooring here. Next, I have slightly smaller cardboard just cut out. So it sort of looks like you step up. I'm going to cover the top of this in this really cute cat print. At Walmart, I find the best price for material. They have these little packs and swatches of different material. Last time I was there, I picked out a whole bunch of cat ones. So I have this one. I have a black one and a green one, so that's going to work perfect for today. I'm going to cover this. I do make little cuts all over the place because then I'm able to pull it tight and glue it to the back, and it makes it super simple and really easy. Once that is done, I'm going to use these for little tables. I'm just going to take some toothpicks, make them the height I want to. I often use my wire cutter to chop it just because it does it effectively, and I might do one a little bit shorter and then one a little bit taller than that. And then I have some cute coffee cups that can go on top of that. And that makes some little desserts for the top, for that to be the eating area. And then I'm, after that, going to build a scratching post. Okay, so I made progress. I made this scratching post. So I just took a piece of cardboard and covered it with one of the sheets from this little pack of like 100 sheets. And I just picked the one that I thought looked the most like a rug. And then I have these discs. They come in a bag of all these different sizes of circles. Again, I get them from the dollar store. They have them at the Dollarama one. The one that's a little bit more than the $1.25. But I still think this bag was about $1. And then I just covered it in more of the sheets like this. And I have these little posts. They used to be stamps, and the stamp we didn't need and is long gone, so I used it as the little post. And then I have this craft cord, and so I used it as the twine for around here. So I just hot glued it and then wrapped it around and hot glued it again, and just used one of the plain smaller circles. And then this is just like one of these emblems that I had in a pack, and I just cut a toothpick to size and put it through and hot glued, and then put one more smaller circle on top. And I really like how it turned out, so that is going to go over here in this corner. And then for the table setting, I did the cat material on the sort of lounge area, and then I used the same circles that I used for the cat scratching post, and I just covered them in. I have this shiny adhesive. It's more stuff from the dollar store. You can get, just like I have my different wood grains, they also come in this shiny metallic. They have like a bronze, a gold, a silver. I often use silver for mirrors, but I really liked this pink color, so I just made the top of the tables that. And then for the stools, I just did these little circles, and I just stacked two on top of each other. And then I have felt. They come in these squares from the dollar store, and I just cut a circle out and then wrapped it over top. And what I tend to do is just cut little slices around the circle so that when I wrap, I just hot glue and wrap towards the bottom. It just makes it easier to hold on. And then I have this other cat material, and I literally just cut out 2 kitty cats and hot glued them on top. So that gave a cute little cat stool. And then for the plates, I did the same thing. I just put a different paper on the top to give it a plate look, and I picked something sort of neutral and plain, so not to take away from the shiny table. And then I had these little cups from a set off Amazon. I think it was like $10 for 20 cups or something. So I have a whole set of those, and then these cute little cupcakes that are just laying on top of there. So I feel like the decor has come a long way. All right, so we have a couple more items made on the shelf. Right here, I just have a little plant that I've made. I just took one of these circles, and then I cut a piece of paper that I really liked. Again, I used these little squares from the dollar store. There's like a pack of 100 in here, and it was like $1.25. And then I just put hot glue along the edge here and then tucked it around to create the pot. And then I put some glue down and put this moss that you can find at the dollar store. And then I just have some green wire. You can get it for jewelry or you can get it for whatever crafts you're making. And I just cut them to size and bent them and glued them together. And then I cut out these different size leaves just from a piece of felt, again, from the dollar store. I think there's like 15 or 20 that come in a pack. So I always have quite a bit of supplies just hanging about. And then I just glued them onto the wires and they made this super adorable little plant. Okay, so I've added the takeout window and attached all the walls. I love the view of this with the lighting. I'm getting ready to put the roof on next and add the furniture back in. I am going to add the furniture before the roof or I'll feel a little bit frustrated with that. So let's do that next. Okay, so I've made progress. This takeout window is up. Now all the walls are secured. I've added this front entry rug. I just used this greenery. I also put it on my cat scratching post, and this one I just layered on top of some bronze adhesive that I have. I get them packets from the dollar store. I have different colors, and so I just layered the rug color on top of the bronze to give an edge. And then I also made some little steps up. I had built a different set of stairs. They looked like this, and they're super cute. And I really love the construction, but they just aesthetically weren't making me thrilled. So instead of using them, I'll save that for another project. And I've done these little stepping stones instead. So I just did these circles that I like to utilize for most things. I covered them in that same bronze shiny stuff that I put underneath the little piece of carpet. And then I just used some emblems that I have. I have lots of different flower shapes. And it kind of went with the other flowers that I have going on inside the light and the cat box in there. So I just put those on, and those are the little steps up. This one I haven't glued into place because I don't need to. I also have these little mushrooms, again, backed onto bronze, just to tie it all in. I think I'm probably going to stand them up here and maybe stagger them and glue them onto the floor to look cute. And then along with that, I might put some little greenery out here in a little window box or something. I guess it's technically a floor box, but all right, so I have put the furniture back inside, including the water bowl, the cat scratcher, and the little low tables. I am just working on these outdoor elements for a moment. So I have these little mushrooms that are backed in bronze that I'm going to hang here, and I'm making another potted plant, but slightly taller because this one's going outside. So I just want to show how I was making it. So first I cut the length that I want it to be, and I have put this sort of matching the indoor flooring just because I like to tie it all together. And then I've put it on top of bronze and just given it a little extra edge just to give it some dimension. And then I have taken my circle and hot glued it into the first curve. And I did it a little bit higher than the bottom because then I can make the pot shorter without having to put way more moss and stuff inside of it. So literally attached it like that. Sorry, show it better. And then what I'm just going to do is put hot glue on this part and just roll it forward. And I've cut it long enough that as it rolls over, it will overlap a little bit because you don't want to have a gap there. So once I've rolled it into place, then it will be this beautiful little potted plant that I will stick out here. And I will do the same thing as the one from indoors, where I will put a couple pieces of wire. It can either be regular wire, like the silver kind, or it can be the green stuff that I happen to have, or it can honestly even be a toothpick that you do or don't cover. It honestly can be whatever you want it to be. And then I still have some more of these leaves here that I've cut out of felt, and then I like to make a little curve onto my wire so that I can put glue on this little section, and then I just adhere it and fold it over, and then it gives kind of that natural leaf look. And I mean, by natural I mean felt, but it gives it a really nice natural curve. All right, plant's in place. I love how it looks. Now for the roof, I've laid on my plan, and now let's attach it. Okay, so I have the roof going. I haven't attached it yet because I need to attach the light in here before I fully do it, but this is the concept. So I have 2 big beams and 2 smaller beams, and they're sitting on top of a sheet of shrink wrap from the dollar store that makes those little keychains, but it makes perfect glass. Then I also have this little I took another piece and cut it to size and then attached some little pieces of wood to it. All I just did was, I have all these different beams, like the big ones here and these smaller ones, and I just took my wire cutter and trimmed off the length that I wanted. These little things are from the dollar store, literally is where I get most of my supplies, and I just attached them onto the piece that is independent of the rest. And then I've also cut out that piece I was holding earlier to fit in the little piece behind there. It's kind of an awkward shape. So my next plan is to attach the sheet of plastic and then the beams on top. And once the big beams are in, then I'm going to attach that light fixture to the beam so it hangs nicely. Oh, whoops, I popped it. And then after that's done, I'll attach the smaller piece and this piece, and then the roof will fully be enclosed. Okay, so the roof is on. I have the glass on the top put on, then I have my beams, my other two smaller beams to secure it in place. Then I have this additional piece here, and then also the smaller piece in here. I added this beam and this beam that I previously didn't mention I was going to add, just because when I looked through the little cafe sign, you could see the top of the plastic / glass, and I wasn't loving that. So I added those two beams to sort of give it a finished look, and I super like that. I've also attached the lamp, and you can see it down here as well, and I like that. I'm still loving the cash register here, so I just have to decide my finishing touches. So the table and chairs are complete. I just matched the tabletop to the inside coffee station decor just to tie it in. I still have to add the coffee station accessories, and I will do that next. And I'm also going to build another little planter for here to match the one over there. I'm just going to make it slightly smaller so it doesn't take up all the remaining space. So I'm going to do that next. Making progress on my display case. So I have my two arches done. They are cut out and covered in the adhesive. I just traced them onto the adhesive and did both sides and drew a line down the center with my dull side of my X-Acto knife just to make it easier to fold over. Then I've attached it to the shrink paper, it's the type of plastic from the dollar store. And then I've just attached them onto the bottom, and I'm going to curve this plastic up to the top, and I'll just cut off whatever excess. And then I also will put a little shelf in the middle so that I can put several, and then it is going to go up here on the counter. So I made it about a little less than 3 centimeters because I didn't want it to take up the entire space. So the display case is complete and turned out exactly how I wanted. Now I have it up on the counter beside the cash register, and it looks fantastic. Okay, so next we're doing the coffee canisters and the coffee maker. So the canisters are simply just the paper attached to the circles. The coffee maker is all the little parts, and then I've added some bronze to the like cooking parts or heating parts, and here I've added the coffee carafe as well. And the little cat cafe is complete. I've added all the final touches. Display case, the coffee maker, the little tea and coffee boxes, the cat register, the outdoor seating area, and I'm just loving how it turned out. If you liked this video, feel free to hit like and subscribe to see more content like this, and thanks for watching.